Hello, myself Harish B, Associate Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. So today I will be briefing about a lab called as Foundry, Forging and Welding. So this is the lab that is there in the second year of Mechanical Engineering course. So this is the lab that is there in the second year of it is mechanical engineering course. So name foundry, forging and welding. So the subject code of this is 18 MEL 38 bar 48B. Since the lab can be either in the third or fourth semester, if it is in third semester, it will be 38. If it is in the fourth, it is 48B. So here today I will be giving a brief introduction about this particular lab. So coming with the introduction, then overview, then the course outcome and then examination pattern. So first is here introduction. So the lab as it known as foundry, forging and welding. Now if you want to manufacture any product, so you will be having the raw material, you will be knowing how will be the finished product. In between it should pass through a mechanical process. So a process is one where the raw material is converted into finished product. In mechanical process, so we got different types of mechanical process. So here in this lab, you will be coming across three different processes, that is the foundry, forging and welding process. Now what is the importance of this particular lab? Now as a mechanical engineering student, so if you take first thing is foundry. So foundry is the process where the metal is heated and heated metal is poured into the cavity. After solidification, what we get is called as the casted part, hence it is also called as casting. So this casting is a very old process, so where we can manufacture any product, any size, any shape. That is the wideness of this particular process. So starting from very small component to a very big component, starting from very small size to very big size component, and from standard geometric shape to any irregular shape. So that is called casting process, where we heat the metal, heated metal is poured into the cavity, and then after solidification what we get is called as casting. This casting is done in the lab, foundry lab or foundry shop, hence it is also called as foundry. Second one is forging. So forging is once again a mechanical process where the metal is heated to red hot condition, and by applying the external pressure it is brought into required shape and size. So example, your connecting rod, spanners, so where it is heated and by applying external pressure, you get the required shape. Now that is one more process. Third one is welding. Welding, as it is already known, as a joining process. So where two pieces are joined together to give a required shape. So these are three different mechanical process. The basics of these mechanical process should be known as a mechanical engineering student. That is what you study in this particular lab. So regarding the foundry, so how to cut the cavity. So how to cut the cavity in the mold box. How to cut a cavity in the mold box. So what are the tools we use? What type of moldings we can have? That is basic things related with the foundry. Similarly forging, so how the metal is heated, and then what are the tools we use for heating, then what are the tools we use for applying the external pressure to bring it to the required shape. That is the basic things related with forging. Third one is welding. So how welding is done, so what is welding and what are the welding tools, and the basic procedure of carrying out the welding process. All these things are basic things related with the three process: foundry, forging and welding. So that is what you will be studying in this particular lab: foundry, forging and welding. That is about introduction. That is about the introduction. So one more important factor about this casting process is that, so example, if you take starting from ornaments to very big size engine cylinder, engine casing, so all these parts are manufactured by casting. You know that if you take ornaments, it will be very small in size. If you take engine component, big in size. So what it is not of regular shape, it is not of regular defined shape. So all these done are by casting. So here in this lab, basic concepts related with the three mechanical process will be going through with this particular lab. Then the overview introduction is that about the particular lab. So overview. So overview is nothing but what you will be studying or what we will be going through with this particular lab. So it is nothing but the syllabus of this particular lab. So here, if you go through the syllabus, so entire lab is divided into, it is 3 sections: part A, part B, and part C. So part A deals with sand testing, part B it is foundry, and part C is forging. Part of part A is welding practice. Now here, this casting process, if you want to carry out casting process, initially the mold has to be prepared. So here sand mold. So basically sand molding is done where we will be having mold box in which sand will be filled and ramming is done, and using the cutting tools the cavity is cut. Now we should know the properties of sand. We have different types of sands. So what are the properties of sand? So that will affect the casting, quality of casting. Hence, the first part is sand test. So where we carry out different tests to study the properties of the sand. So first one is AFS, grain fineness number. So fineness number is nothing but the size of the sand particles. So it is represented in terms of number. So bigger the size, so there how will be the casting? Smaller the size, how will be the casting? So before going for casting, you should know what is the finest number of the sand grains. So in order to find out that, so the first experiment what we carry out is grain fineness number, where we find out the fineness number of the sand that is used for preparing the sand mold. Then second one is moisture content test. Now here in case of preparing the mold, so sand plus clay plus water is mixed in the required proportion. So using that we prepare the mold. So when you add water, so moisture content will be there. So if moisture content exceeds, the mold breaks. So the percentage should be well defined. So whatever percentage that should be there, that should be defined, and according to that percentage only sand, clay and water should be mixed. So once it is mixed, we can find out what is the percentage of moisture that is present, because if excess moisture is there, the mold breaks. Hence we can find out what is the moisture content in the sand mixture. So for that we carry out the second experiment, that is moisture content test. Third one is permeability. Now once again preparing the mold. So once the mold is prepared, so the metal is heated and poured into the cavity. So heating is done in open atmosphere, pouring of molten metal will be done in open atmosphere. Hence atmosphere gases will fill with the material which is in liquid state. So this leads to a defect in case of the finally casted part. Hence that atmosphere gases that are there, that should escape out. So sand should have that property. So that should have a property called as permeability. It is a property by which the sand will allow, sand particles will allow the escaping of gases that is present in the this liquid metal. So for that we should know what is the permeability of the sand that we are using. Hence we conduct one more experiment as far as permeability test. Then here once we prepare the mold, so the liquid metal will be poured into the cavity. So it will be applying the load on the casting, on the prepared mold. So it should have that strength. So in order to find out that, so we carry out tension, compression, shear test of the sand that is used in the mold. So we carry out experiments to find out what is the tension, what is the compression and shear strength of the sand which we are using for preparing the mold. As sand is one of the basic ingredients that are used for preparing the mold, we should know the properties of the sand. So hence the first part is sand testing, where we carry out different tests in order to find out the different properties of the sand that is used. Then in the same part, the one more section that is there is welding practice. So welding is a process of joining two or more metals by application of heat with or without pressure. So here you will be carrying out basic joints. We prepare basic joints. So by the welding process, that is L joint, it will be the shape of L. So then butt joint, B joint and lap joint. So where we will be having two pieces. So two pieces will be kept together and a joint is established. So based on what is the shape, we got L joint, butt joint, B joint and lap joint. So these things come under the part A section of the, that is syllabus of this particular lab. Then coming to the part B, so we got foundry practice. So foundry practice is one, as I just now told, what is foundry. So here we prepare the cavity. We prepare the cavity. So using the this sand, that is we prepare the sand mold. So this is done with use of pattern and without using the pattern. Using the different tools, without using the pattern, we cut the cavity. Similarly, using the pattern, we cut the cavity. So 3 to 4 models. So with or without using the pattern, we carry out the process, that is foundry practice. Now to the part C, forging. So forging, where we heat the metal, to red hot condition and then apply the external pressure and bring it to the required shape. So basically, one more thing about forging is, it is earlier it was known as smithy. So it is carried out in a smithy shop. Hence, this forging is also called as smithy. So because it will, where we heat the process and heat the metal and apply the required pressure to get the required shape and size. So here, in case of forging, so initially you should do the calculation. So what is the volume of the original material? So and what is the volume that changes? So to get the required different shapes. So basic calculations of the material and forging operations. So here once again 2 to 3 models will be prepared. So which will be part of the forging operation. So different forging operations like upsetting, bending will be carried out along with the calculation. That is about part C. So part A, part B and part C. So then coming to the examination pattern. So here you will be having one question from part A, that is for 30 marks. So part A you will get as a sand test and this welding. Then one question from part B. So part B, so foundry and forging. So that is for 50 marks. And we will be having Viva for 20 marks. Put together, it will be for 100 marks. This is the examination pattern about the lab, foundry, forging and welding lab. So once we know the basic concepts, importance, syllabus content, that is nothing but overview. So one more thing, what should be known as COs, course outcome. So what is course outcome? So course outcome is one where, so once you complete the lab, so what is the outcome? What is the outcome of carrying out this particular lab? So here we identified 3 course outcomes, that is CO1, CO2 and CO3. So CO1 is nothing but, it says that demonstrate the fundamentals of production process using measuring instruments, handheld tools, then materials, work and to document work that is performed. So fundamentals we will be knowing. So we will be carrying out foundry, forging, welding and sand test. So fundamentals of that, fundamentals of those part. So fundamentals of production process. All these are production process. So where with the we will be knowing that part. So that is what the first course outcome says. And different tools we will be using. Different tools. So for carrying out the forging operation, similarly for carrying out the foundry operations and even for carrying out the sand test experiments, we will be using different equipments and different tools. So basic things about hand tools and the same thing will be documented. So that is what the first CO, for that is a course outcome of this particular lab. Then the second one is course outcome number 2, analyzing and development of models, selection of process and practice the processes, then involved in foundry, forging, welding and sand test experiments. Once you know the basic things, next part is analyzing. So analyzing and development of metals. So here first part is analyzing and development of metals, selection of process and practice of the process. So what type of mold should be prepared? So what type of forging has to be carried out? What are different operations that has to be carried out in forging? So in forging we have got different operations. So in order to finish that model, so which are the different operations that has to be carried out? Similarly, if you want to prepare a sand mold, how the sand mold is prepared. So whether we have to use a pattern or whether without using pattern, how it should be done. So all these things, selection of the process, analyzing, which should be done. That is the second CO you will be knowing. Once you know the basic thing, analyzing how it should be done, how it can be done, what are the tools. So what are the different experiments, equipments that are being used for carrying out sand testing. Analyzing. The third part is evaluating the process and usage of appropriate tools to attain better accuracy and efficient completion of jobs and quantify the properties of the sand. So here, so once you know the CO basic things you know, second things selection of the process, third one evaluating the process and usage. So among different process, which one should be used and carry out the process, that is a process usage of appropriate tools, using the different tools, and then quantify that. So quantify the properties of sand. So what are the properties of sand? So we are considering different type of sands. So what is the tension test? What is the tensile strength? What is the compressive strength? What is the shear strength? What is the percentage of moisture content? So you can quantify that. This is the percentage. That is what the third CO. 3 COs, basic things, basic concepts, then analyzing, then third one, carrying out the process and quantifying the process. So these are the 3 course outcome of this particular lab: foundry, forging and it is welding. So one more thing is credits. So credits for this particular lab given or prescribed by the university is two credits will be there for this particular lab. Hello students. So in this session I will give an introduction of the forging part of the lab: foundry, forging and welding. So first coming to the definition. So I will discuss the definition, forging tools, what are different forging operations and how to do the forging calculation. So definition. So forging is an operation where the metal is heated to red hot condition and by applying the external force it is brought into required shape and size. So it is an operation where the metal is heated to red hot condition and by applying the external force it is given the required shape and size. So for heating we use the furnace here. So metal has to be heated to red hot condition. So for that we use furnace. So metal will be heated in a furnace. Then for applying pressure we have to use different tools. So that is the definition of forging. So what are the tools that can be used or that has to be used in order to carry out the different operations in case of forging? So coming to the tools, so the different tools that are used in case of forging is, first one is anvil. So anvil is nothing but the support on which the material will be placed for applying the required external force. So once it is heated to red hot condition, so it will be a platform is required. So for that platform or the support, that is what given by the anvil. Then swage block. So swage block is once again one more the tool that is used when we want to get different cross-sectional shapes. So material that is heated to red hot condition, that will be placed and external force will be applied. That is the second tool. Third one is tongs. So tong is an holding device. So holding the workpiece. So once we heat the metal to red hot condition, so from the furnace it has to be lifted and it should be held by a tool. So that tool is tongs. So
tongs, we can have different shapes of tongs can be used depending upon the cross-sectional shape of the workpiece. Tongs is the work holding device. Then hammer. Next tool is hammer. So hammer is once again the tool that is used to apply the external force. External force applying. So different types of hammers can be used. Then flatters. So flatters are the tool that is used in order to get a flat surface. Initially the workpiece will be in cross-sectional, that is circular cross-section. So that has to flatten either to get a rectangular or square cross-section. So for getting that flat surface, so the hammering will be done on the holding the flatter. So that is the flatter. Then swage. Swage is one which is the tool that is used. You can see this figure in order to get a circular cross section. If the workpiece is a square cross section, if it has to be brought down into circular cross section, we can use this tool, that is swage. Then fuller. So is once again one more tool that is used in case of forging. So fuller is one which is used in order to get the required cross sectional shape. So in order to get the required cross sectional shape, what you can see in this figure. So along these tools we use a furnace. So furnace is one where the metal is heated to red hot condition. That is one more thing what we use in case of forging. Next, once we know the definition, the forging tools, so what are different forging operations that are performed? So what are the different forging operations that can be performed? You can refer the figures here. So first operation is upsetting. So upsetting is the operation which is done where the diameter is increased and the length of the workpiece is increased. Diameter is reduced and length is increased. So this is the anvil. So as I told, anvil is the supporting tool, which is used to support the workpiece. This is anvil on which material that is heated, and then so we apply the hammering is done. So its length is diameter is increased, whereas length is decreased. That is upsetting. Second one is drawing operation. So drawing operation is one, as itself tells that drawing is increasing the length. The specimen is drawn. So where once again you can have bottom die and top die. So which is bottom die is fixed on which the workpiece is placed, and the top die is placed and hammering is done. So you can see this is the original diameter. So diameter reduces whereas length increases. That is drawing operation. Then third operation that can be performed in case of forging is bending operation. So this is once again the anvil. So bending is the operation that is performed to bend the given workpiece to any required angle. So normally it will be between 45 to 90 degree. So when you want to have a workpiece that is to bended to a required angle, so it is placed and hammering is on the anvil and hammering is done. So that is called as bending operation. Then fullering is one more operation. Fullering is one where you can see this is once again the anvil. So this is the workpiece. I want to get a cross section of this shape. So this is the bottom fuller, this is the top one. So bottom is fixed on which the workpiece is placed. Once again hammering is done. I can get the required cross section shape. That is one more operation. Then sievaging is one more operation that is performed in case of forging. So here this is the operation that is performed in order to change the square cross section into this circular cross section. That is square cross section workpiece is changed into circular cross section workpiece it is changed into square cross section. So here in the initial session we have discussed what is forging, that is definition of forging, then forging operations and forging tools. So one more important aspect is forging calculation. Now here we will look at with the model, that is forging model 1. So this is the raw material. Raw material will be circular in cross section. So that is diameter is 20 mm and length is 80 mm. A raw material will be diameter is 20 mm and length is 80 mm. That is a circular rod of 80 mm length and 20 mm diameter will be given. That has to be changed to the given figure. So this is what we call as finished model. So finished model, this is how you should get. Now if I want to change this circular rod of 20 mm dia and 80 mm length into the required shape, so that is here you can observe the finished model. So this is that is square cross section of 13 that is length into breadth. So here this is initially it will vertical, then it is bent, and then here we got 3 different cross section. So you have to look at the finished model and divide that finished model into 3 different different sections. So here, so this is one section, that is section 1, volume of 1. This is section 2, volume of, that is section 2, V2, and this section 3, that is volume of section 3. This circular rod of 20 mm dia and 80 mm length should be changed into this shape. So how? By carrying out different forging operation. So initially we have to do the calculation, that is called as forging calculation. So what should be the total length? So 20 mm dia should be reduced to, that is 13 square. So then what should be total length? So for that we have to do the calculation. So what we should do is, whenever given finished figure is given, so divide that figure into different cross sections, different sections. So here it is divided into 3 sections. So then we can start with the calculation. So total volume of the raw material. So here one thing that has to be remembered is that we are not adding any material, we are not reducing the material. By heating and applying the external force, we are changing the shape. So volume of the raw material. So what is the total volume of the raw material? That is VR is equal to pi by 4 into d squared by L. Since it is circular cross section, diameter is given, length is given, that is VR is equal to pi by 4 according to the formula, diameter 20 into L. So total volume we get as 25132.78 meter cube. That is volume of the raw material. Now we have divided this given finished model into 3 sections. We have to calculate volume of first section, volume of second section, and volume of third section. So that should be equal to the total volume. We are not adding or we are not reducing the, that is removing any material. So total volume should be equal to the finished model, volume of finished model. So considering heat losses. So when you heat the metal, so there will be certain losses. We have to take that losses also into consideration. So here 5% heat losses are taken into consideration. So volume of raw material should be equal to volume of finished product. So what is volume of raw material? That is denoted as VR. What is volume of finished model? So that is considering 5% heat losses, 1.05 into V1 plus V2 plus V3. Volume of first section, volume of second section, and volume of third section. So this total volume should be equal to this, this volume of finished model. So we have to calculate V1, V2, V3. So here one thing you have to observe, that this length is not given. That is unknown. So volume of this section 2 will be in terms of L2. Volume of section 2 will be in terms of L2. So we will start with the first section. So first section is, this is section. So it is 47 because this minus total is 60. 60 minus this length, that is 13. 60 minus 13, that's why it will be 47, whereas the width will be 13. So this is the first cross section. So it is the square cross section, length into breadth into height. So length L1, B1, H1. So V1 is 47 into 13 into 13, that we get as 7473 meter cube. That is volume of only this cross section, that is first cross section. Then come to volume of second cross section. So to find V2, that is what is the volume of second cross section. So once again same formula, that is once again consider this rectangle, you can see this figure. So L2 we don't know the length, whereas this is 13 and this is 13. So applying the formula, V2 is equal to L2 into B2 into H2. So substitute the values. L2 I don't know, that is unknown. So we know B2 is 13. So volume of V2 I get in terms of L2, that is unknown. That is, we are getting as 169 L2 meter cube. That is volume of the second cross section. Then we have to calculate the volume of third cross section. So this is the second cross section. So to find V3, that is volume of third cross section. So here volume of third cross section is equal to L into B into H by 3. It is nothing but volume of a square pyramid. Volume of a square pyramid. So this is a pyramid cross section. So pyramid cross section. Hence, by applying the formula volume of a square pyramid, that is L into B into H by 3. So V3 is equal to length I know, breadth I know, H I know, that is given 30, height is given. So V3 I get 1690 meter cube. So I calculated all the three volumes V1, V2 and V3. So here V2 is in terms of L2, that is unknown. First I have to find out what is that value. What is that value? So once we calculate individual volumes of three sections, so I have to apply the, that is substitute this total volume of raw material will be equal to volume of finished product. So by applying that, so VR is equal to, considering the losses 1.05 into V1 plus V2 plus V3, I know all the values except V2 is in terms of L2. So from this I will get the value of L2. Since all the values are known, only L2 is unknown, so L2 will be equal to 84.63, rounding up it will be almost 85 mm. So I got this length, that is L2. Next, you have to calculate what should be the length of the pyramid. This is very much important. So finally it is 30. Finally it is 30. So what are the different operations we perform is that, so first we its length is increased, then bending is done, then here I should get a square pyramid shape. I should get a square pyramid shape. So this length is 30. So here initially it will be a rectangular cross section. Initially it will be a rectangle. It will be like this. It will be a square cross section. It will be a square cross section that has to be that is changed into triangle shape. So what should be that length? I have to find out what should be that length. That is what the next calculation shows that. Initially pyramid will be in the shape of a rectangle. So what should be this length? So I am removing this amount of material. When I remove this amount of material, so its length should be, that is height of the pyramid will be changing. So for that we have to do this calculation. So I know volume of the square pyramid. So V3 already I have calculated, that is 1690. So that is equal to L into B into H. So 13 into 13 into H3. H3, that is height of the square pyramid, that is the unknown factor. So from that simplifying, I will get the value of H as 10 mm. Value of H I am getting as 10 mm. So then that will be the height of the pyramid. H is nothing but the height of the pyramid. So I should get the total length. So initially it is a 80 mm length. So when I heat it to red hot condition, then apply the external force. So what should be the total length? So once I change the original length into, that is the finished length, so then I should do the bending operation and the operation here in order to get the triangle shape. So what should be total length? So total length L will be equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3. So L1 already I know 47. So 60 minus, that is your 13. So already I got that as, that is 47. L2 I got from the calculation 85. Then L3 I got 10. So total length will be equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3, that is 142 mm. So I had to initially heat it. So this 80 mm circular rod should be brought down into, it is a square cross section of the length 142 mm. Of the length 142 mm, and then the bending operation is to be carried out in order to get this section, that is second section. Then once again here it is this rectangular, the flat surface should be brought into triangular shape. So these are the different operations that are involved in finishing this model 1.
Welcome back to this demo session of the forging part of this particular lab. So coming to the tools what we use. So here, as discussed in the previous session, so metal has to be heated. for heating, we use the open arc furnace. This open arc furnace where the metal is heated into red hot condition. Then coming to the tools, what we use. So this is the initial workpiece, a circular rod of certain diameter and length. So that is the initial workpiece. So this workpiece should be changed to the final shape, that is the finished model. That is the finished model. So coming to the tools, whatever tools we are using. So this is called the anvil. So anvil is nothing but the supporting thing on which the workpiece is placed and external force is applied. So this is the anvil, and these are called as sledgehammers. So here metal has to be heated to red hot condition and then external force has to be applied. So these are the sledgehammers. So a small sledgehammer and big sledgehammer, and this is the tongs. So tongs are the workpiece holding device. Metal that will be heated to red hot condition, that is to be removed from the furnace. So for removing and holding the workpiece, so this is the tool that what we use is, that's called as it is tongs. So this is the flattener. So flattener is the device that is a tool that is used for flattening the given workpiece. Initially it will be circular cross section. So this has to be flattened and it will be flattened and it will be drawn. So this is the that is drawing after doing the operation. So it should be flattened. So flattening. So this tool is used, and then this is the chisel. So this is the chisel for marking. So marking that has to be done on the workpiece. This is the chisel. So these are the different types of tools that what we use to carry out the forging operation. So today I will do a demo of finishing a forging model. This is a given model, a circular rod of certain diameter and length. The furnace is lighted. Now next step, material will be heated to red hot condition. So it will be heated to red hot condition in the furnace. Material is put in the furnace and it will be heated. Heating process is on. So this is the first stage where the material is heated to red hot condition. You can observe, so material is heated to red hot condition. This is the tong that is used for holding the material. Now external force is applied by hammering and using flattener. So material is, that is drawing operation carried out by increasing its length and reducing its diameter. So this is the applying external force. So this is the stage where you can observe that the drawing operation is carried out on the given workpiece. So like that, for entire length, the drawing operation will be carried out. So once the drawing operation is finished, this is how the material will be converted from circular cross section into that is square or rectangular cross section. Next stage is doing the markings. So as per the given drawing, so marking will be done on the, that is after drawing operation, marking will be done. So this is the chisel that is used for marking and hammer. So third step after doing the marking is that, so one end of the workpiece has to be changed into pyramid shape. So for that, once again, material is heated to red hot condition, and by hammering, that is applying external force, so it will be brought into a pyramid shape. So this is the platter. Platter is used for flattening the edges. So this is, you can see, observe that the edges has been, you can observe the edges has been flattened, and it is brought into a pyramid shape. That is the third stage. So once again, the material has to be heated to red hot condition, and the next operation is bending operation. So bending operation has to be carried out. So next, the bending operation will be carried out. So once again, the material is heated to red hot condition, and using a leg vise. This is the leg vise where the material is held, that is given workpiece is fixed on the leg vise, and then once again using the hammer, the bending operation is carried out. Once the bending is done on the leg vise, finishing will be done once again on the anvil. So this is the finishing operation that will be carried out, so that exactly you can get the flattened surface. So using a flattener, once again external force is applied, so that you can get the perfect flat surfaces. See, this is the stage where the pyramid shape is we have got. So then material is bended, and so this is the stage where it is finished. The first model, that is, we carry out the drawing operation, then marking, then getting in pyramid shape on one edge, and the bending operation. So once everything is done, so material has to be cooled. So for that, so the finished model will put into the bucket in red hot condition. It will be at high temperature has to be brought out. So for that cooling, it is put into a bucket carrying cold water.